And what's going on, guys? Alex here, and today I'd like to talk to you about Netflix and video games during exam session. By the way, this is the first podcast episode available on YouTube in a video format as well, so feel free to follow. inSHURed podcast is the page. So, and right now, let's go to the subject of this episode. So, this exam session was quite easy for me, to be honest, and that's why I have spent lots of time playing video games and also watching Netflix. Same as supposed to a medical student on the 4th year. And I have thought that there is a little bit of a problem if we're talking about Netflix and chill, because Netflix is very convenient. You cannot disagree that Netflix app is a very convenient app and it's available in lots of different places, same as Android, iPhone, iPad, like tablets, phones. Even there is an application for Windows, so I can watch lots of all of this series, all of these films, all of the documentaries, anime, and so on my computer in a 4K resolution. So it's a very convenient, and also you cannot disagree that convenience also goes if we're talking about continuing to the next episode, because before that there was a little bit of a problem that you should press manually that you want to watch the next episode, and right now there is approximately 3 or 5 seconds just in order to go to the next episode automatically. The same as autoplay on YouTube, but on YouTube it works in a very strange way. One time it works and another it doesn't work at all. And also, if we're talking about Netflix, it also allows you to skip the opening titles and the ending titles as well. So you don't have the spare time in order to think whether you want to watch another episode or not, if we're talking about series as well. And if we're talking about films, it also allows you to go to the next film, and so by that you can watch like tons and tons of films just during one day. Fortunately, I was a very lucky person, because I have had only 3 exams during this exam session, and it was not very hard exams. Of course, pathology and obstetrics was pretty hard, but still only 3 exams, because before that, the year before that, it was something about 5 or 6 examinations, to be honest. So it's a whole different way. Of course, I thought that it would be an occasional break for me as watching Netflix, but some days it turned out to be the whole day dedicated toward Netflix. But still, let's continue to the Netflix problem, which I have found for myself at least. So Netflix is pretty cheap. What do I mean by that? Like, it's sort of cheap. It costs in a maximum plan $15 a month, and you pay this $15 for lots of film series, cartoons, anime, and others. And also you can share this account with 4 other people, and all of these 4 people can watch in 4K quality. And that's much cheaper than renting those films and series, apparently, separately. So the problem here, which I can find, is that if you are renting the films, for example, in a Google Play videos, in a Google Play films, in that case, the thing what's going on actually is that you think about what would you like to watch. And because of the thing what right now exists in Netflix, you can only press one button, and by pressing this one button, the thing that happens is that you turn on any random series, and that's very convenient, the same point as before. But the problem here is that you start watching anything, and you can watch every single thing. That's the problem here, because when you're renting some type of film or you buy some type of film, you think about where you want to spend your money to. But right here, you're paying for the whole library, and that's why you can choose whatever you want, and you can watch as many as you like. Also, the problem which I see in Netflix, other than convenient and relative cheapness of the Netflix subscription, is that you can see films, you can watch films in any type of position. So you can watch it standing, you can watch it sitting, you can watch it laying down, you can watch it even sleeping during sleep. Because comparing to the video games, which I will talk about a little bit later, video games you can play mostly in only two positions. It's either standing or sitting. In my case, standing as well, because I have standing desk. I know I have mentioned that in a lot before, but I'm very proud of this standing desk. I have wanted this type of furniture for a long period of time. So continuing to the shuffle button. The shuffle button which exists in Netflix app for Android at least. So it reduces friction for you to spend more time in this Netflix application. And also, if you are not like spending lots of time in the Netflix application, Netflix sends you like notifications using the application. It sends you notifications through sending emails for you, and that's why it reduces friction and makes you spend more and more time on this platform. Just I have thought, by the way, why are they doing that? Because it's more convenient for them that some users are not spending so much time watching films, so they have to pay less to the owners of these films and series. But I have understood that the problem here is actually that if person isn't watching Netflix for a long period of time, he will most probably cancel his or her subscription. And that's why I have understood that Netflix tries to make you watch more, and by watching more you understand that this subscription actually is something useful for you and you actually need this subscription. So also, one of the problems which I have found with the Netflix application, and by the way, it's not the pleasant one and not funny one as all of these which I have mentioned before, is that I cannot delete the Netflix application from my phone. It's not possible for me, at least right now, before I get like a root and so on. But the problem here is that this Netflix application is made almost the same as the system app, and this application I cannot delete. I can only hide it some way, but still it will exist on my phone. I have a OnePlus phone, and as I have understood, OnePlus has cooperated with Netflix. And that's why Netflix application is always available on my phone. That's a little bit annoying, but to be honest, that's okay because it's Netflix, but it's a very, very, let me say, dangerous example. Because if such corporations, such mega corporations as Netflix are allowing themselves to pay to OnePlus or to other manufacturer to install their application like as a system app so user cannot delete it, it's a very dangerous thing, because after some time we can find ourselves in some type of cyberpunk future, because I suppose we are all going to the cyberpunk future, but that's topic for another episode. And so the producers of some type of applications, they will make others to use their services because the application will be like a system app and you cannot delete it. And if you cannot delete the application, then most probably you will use it, because otherwise it will annoy you very, very much, especially if you're like me and you prefer all of your applications to be useful, all of your applications to be used, and you really hate applications which you don't use and they simply are located on your phone or tablet, for example. Anyway, going next is that Netflix, it's really difficult to stop watching because all of the things which I have described above, and you need to control yourself really, really, really a lot. And very often I have found myself like at 2 a.m. watching another episode of, for example, like show of like Alice in the Borderlands. It's a very interesting show. It's a very underrated show, I suppose, because everyone knows about the Squid Game, but not lots of people know about Alice in the Borderlands. But I suppose this series is much better, by the way, than than actually Squid Game, but that's about that we'll talk a little bit later. So also, as I said before, it's really difficult to stop watching Netflix, and it's really easy to spend lots of time in bed watching, because as I said before, you can watch Netflix anywhere, because comparing to video games, you can play it mostly at home. Also, after launch of Valve Steam Deck, you would be able to play video games also like almost anywhere, in any type of position, but for now it's only available if we're talking about sitting or laying down, for example, near your TV or near the monitor of your computer. So very difficult to stop watching. And if we're talking about difficulty of stopping watching, I have gathered 3 series and 1 film which I really liked and which I have watched completely through this exam session. So first of all, obviously this will be Witcher, because I really like Witcher series. By the way, I have a Witcher keycap on my Razer Huntsman Mini on the escape button, bought from AliExpress for something like $10. I really love it. It's made from zinc, as I have understood, and it looks really gorgeous, with glowing eyes, like this wolf medallion of Geralt from the video game. Like it looks amazing. So Witcher, Witcher series is a very interesting series from different conditions, from different perspectives. So let's say that. Why? Because Witcher as a universe is a very interesting universe. It's similar to lots of others, like fantasies and fantasy books, but because of the game, especially Witcher 3, it became very popular. And if we're talking about Netflix series, the adaptation of Netflix is very interesting, is very good made, but it has lots of problems, obviously, especially in the first seasons, like in the season 1 and 2, I suppose, as well, because the season 3, from the visuals perspective, is much better. But anyway, if we're talking about like lore of The Witcher, then I'd say that this series is very crappy, to be honest, simply because it's not precise from the books and games point of view. But if we consider this series as an interpretation of The Witcher's universe, it's really good. I like the Henry Cavill, I like almost all of the actors besides Triss, because Triss looks like really, like you didn't even try to find someone who is looking like Triss. Like the only thing they have in common is like they both are redheads. Like okay. Anyway, Witcher, I love this series. Highly recommend you, even if you haven't played like neither 3 Witcher series, neither series of Witcher games, and if you haven't read any type of books, you will still understand what's going on there. So the second, not plays, but the second series, which I really like and which I replay very often when I have some time, or even when I don't have some time and when I'm procrastinating, is actually Sex Education. It's one of the best comedy shows which I have seen lately, and by lately I mean like couple of years, because Sex Education is very funny. It's educating, and I can relate myself to lots of persons in this series, which is very strange, because I'm not a teenager, to be honest, for a very long period of time, and I'm not in the high school. I'm almost graduating from university after a couple of years, but still, I am more than 4 years in studying medicine, so almost a doctor, but still I can relate myself, and that's really interesting. And I understand that many of the problems which are described in this series are real, and not only real, but some of it I have met as well when I was in my high school. So the next it will be film, which has launched actually last Christmas, and when it has launched last Christmas, I missed it because I didn't have any Netflix subscription then, I try to study hard. But anyway, it's the film named Holiday, because sometimes I am in the mood for some dumb romantic comedies. And this time is usually some Christmas holiday, some winter holidays like New Year's Eve, and that's actually the perfect time when Netflix like launches their dumb romantic comedies like in the winter scenario, like holiday, and the holiday is perfectly about Christmas as well, about holidays, about like date for holidays, and the actors I love. I know lots of them. I love lots of them because they're really good actors, and I have watched very many of the other films. And if you're looking, some dumb romantic comedy, Holiday is right for you, because especially if you are talking about some winter season. So last but not least, if you liked Squid Game, as many of people in the world as it appears, I highly recommend Alice in the Borderland. It's a similar type of series. I like this type of series when you don't understand what's going on, and here is also it's taking place not in South Korea, as I recall, but it happens in Tokyo, the plot twist. And actually I like, it's very similar. It's also like playing with death. It's also like high risk, high reward type of thing. But I like this type of series. I like this type of series when you don't know what's going on, but when you don't understand how this hero, this person has got to where they are, and that's why I have watched Lost series, like Lost series in something about a month, and it's a very long series, to be honest, something about like 6 or 7 like seasons, so it's a lot of time watched, and Lost was one of my favorite series until I have watched lots of others. So this suspicious kind of stuff, this when you don't understand anything like that, if you liked Squid Game, you will most likely like also Alice in the Borderland. So anyway, let's continue to the chill section, because I have talked about Netflix like a lot. And so talking about the chill, I have read, actually, surprisingly for me, I have read one book which is I'd say something about documentary book about psychiatric crisis nowadays. It's called Sedated. And but you know, the thing is that I cannot fully agree to everything what was said there, but the most info looks really legit. This book describes why we're having lots of new psychiatric diagnoses right now, why people are really addicted to antidepressants and other stuff in order just to survive, and how we got to where we are right now. It's one of the books which I have read which are not related to my actual studies, and I don't know, maybe because of it's my first book which I have read like in years, which is not related to studies, or because this book is really good, I can highly recommend that. Also, if you're looking something, if you're looking something which will make your life a little bit better, then I will highly recommend you Atomic Habits. I know maybe you have heard a lot about Atomic Habits, but Atomic Habits actually is a very good book if you are looking for something like self-help book, and a book which will describe how you can build good habits and how you can get rid of the bad habits. Actually, I'm using lots of info out of this book almost every single day, and still right now, when I'm trying to quit vaping, I use lots of practices from this book as well. So, and the last topic for today, which I'd like to talk to you about, it's about games, because gaming is one of my favorite things, because the same as lots of people from the Eastern Europe, lots of who were kids during the 2000s till 2010s, in Eastern Europe, we didn't have any opportunity to play video games, like very little out of this part of society who were kids during this time. Very little had like something like Nintendo or Sega or something similar to these consoles. We're not even talking about PC, because having PC were a luxury because I have got the first PC when I was in the second form only, and it wasn't my PC, it was like a family one that we shared, like 3 of us, one computer. But anyway, because of that, right now I play lots of like old games, for example Dishonored or the first Witcher, because before that I have had the MacBook Pro. And if you know what Apple actually produced before they have transferred to M1 chips to ARM architecture, then you know that these computers were very shitty in terms of productivity for gaming, and that's why I haven't played lots of games there, only CSGO, I suppose. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I tried to play Rust, but even on the lowest graphics it would show me only 2015 FPS, so it was really really bad to play. Anyway, right now, like, I'm having my current laptop, which is a Razer laptop with 2060 RTX and 32 gigabytes of RAM, for almost 2 years, like a year and a half, and I really enjoy playing. I have a gamepad, 2 gamepads to be honest, which both are wireless, and I really enjoy like these single player games, and during this exam session I was playing, and I'm still playing, the Dishonored series, because Dishonored series as it appeared is one of the best series in terms of plot and in terms of gameplay as well, at least for its years when it was released. Also, I am actually trying to go through Witcher series, so right now I am finishing playing Witcher 1, the original one, which has launched, as I recall, in the 2002 year. Anyway, so this also Wolfenstein 1, and by the way, Wolfenstein first and the Dishonored I have got from Xbox Game Pass, which was a gift with this laptop, and I just haven't redeemed it for a very long period of time, for almost 2 years. And as soon as I have launched the Xbox application, they said to me that, you know, you have free Xbox Game Pass for PC for 1 month. So I redeemed it, and that's why I'm having like lots of games right now on my PC installed, and I plan on finishing most of them before the beginning of the new semester, because otherwise it will be quite hard for me to study when I will have lots of these interesting and free, the most important free games installed on my computer. So, last subject which I'd like to talk about is PlayStation versus Xbox, because Xbox Game Pass is actually quite good. I have looked through all of the list of the games which are available on the Xbox Game Pass, and to be honest, if I'd have to choose right now between PlayStation and Xbox, I suppose I'd prefer Xbox simply because Xbox Game Pass is a wonderful thing. I know PlayStation has something similar, like something type of similar in their PlayStation Plus collection, but these games are also available in Steam, and this library is only like 15 or 20 games, contains only 20 or 15 games, and Xbox Game Pass contains like hundreds of games, I suppose. That's why I find that Xbox, at least for now, is a complete winner in this competition. Anyway, on this positive note, I'd like to end this first video podcasting episode. Thank you for being here with me. Feel free to follow on inSHURed podcast on YouTube, and also ranking the podcast on any of the platforms will be highly appreciated. Thank you for being here with me, and hear you guys next week.